So Trick Williams opens up the show, um, and he talks about how he's essentially going to kick Mike Santana's ass, and said that this place will be forever called Trick NA. Mike Santana, of course, came to the crowd with a really good promo. I thought he says he's not had to survive the physical and mental battles that Santana has. Santana talked about identifying his father's body in the morgue and having to tell his daughter that he was an addict. Powerful stuff, and failure was not an option for him. And Bound for Glory, Williams told Santana that he'd be back in rehab after he lost on Sunday to face the truth, and that he was not better than Williams. Santana called Williams a pretender with fear in his eyes, and he was a one-trick pony, and said he would kick him back basically to developmental. So I thought that was a really good promo. To another promo, we got Tessa Blanchard told the same story about Gia Miller couldn't cut it at George South School, called her the J slur again. This is an outrage. I got in so much trouble for using the J slur, and sure enough, Tessa's on here saying like they just reshowed the video from last week, but and then they had a close up on Gia Miller's face, and she was like crying. It was the whole thing. But Miller promised karma at Bound for Glory, and so we'll see who wins that one. But that was a promo there. Matt Cardona defeated Ryan Emma, so that was the first match. I did not remember much about this match. It reminded me of a WWF Superstars enhancement match from like 1993. it was not a good match. It was comedy spots. It was interferences. It was pandering to the crowd. I don't think either guy really took a bump. It was very much like, something you would see on WWF Superstars in 1993. Matt Cardona got the victory there, though. With the radio silence. Rascals did there's That 70s Show gimmick, and they said they need a match for Bound for Glory, so they're going to talk to Santino. I'm surprised they're not just in the Collar Shot Gauntlet, so they'll probably be on the pre-show. I did not think that this one was very good. So I think these are usually pretty funny, but I just didn't think this one was any good at all. And but essentially the gist of it was Zach Wentz was upset that he got super kicked by Trey Miguel. And Trey Miguel talked him into smoking weed, and that made everything okay. So they'll probably have a trios match. They'll probably have a trios match with somebody. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. Where did I go? Okay, hold on. For some reason, I got lost my spot. Okay, hold on. Getting back. All right. Marsha Day cut a promo about how Jazz and Jackie were her inspirations and how cool wrestling with the Hardys was, and she wants to be an inspiration and motivations to little girls. Another really effective promo. They got into Marsha Day's backstory. They're doing a good job of telling her story, which I admittedly I don't watch NXT, so I feel like I'm learning who this person is in real time, and I think that's cool. They're doing a good job of introducing this character to the TV show. They might have something with her, although on Tuesday, completely whiffed her goddamn moonsault. It was not good. All right, Mustafa Ali with Order 4 defeated JDC. Not much to the match. Interferences, distractions, all the horseshit. They did have a big dive to the outside where they knocked everybody down. JDC delivered a massive superplex, and both men were down for a bit. JDC went for Falcon Arrow, but Ali countered with and hit a suplex of his own for a near fall. Ali hit a rolling neckbreaker and taunted the other members of the system. JDC dodged a 450 and sent him headfirst into the middle turnbuckle. That was pretty sick, actually. And JDC followed up with a series of uppercuts, a Russian leg sweep. Ali went for a tornado DDT, but JDC countered with a Falcon Arrow. JDC went to the top, but Ali dropped to the floor, hit a Secret Service, and his Secret Service tended to him. JDC dove onto the pile. Ali and JDC out. Tasha Steeles and Alicia Edwards led their sides into battle on the floor. That created a big distraction, and JDC zero toss JDC in the ring, and Ali hit the 450 to get the pinfall. So the referee was not very good in this match. TNA injury report. I thought this was pretty interesting. Team 3D been cleared. Okay. Marsha Day also cleared. Didn't know she was hurt. Inspiration cleared. but Elijah is still out. This is the first time they brought up Elijah in a while. Now at Victory Road, somebody attacked Joe Hendry in the back, right in like the parking lot or something like that, and then he came out and he ended up still beating Eric Young. I assumed that was Eric Young's new faction, which I don't think is ever coming. I think I might have just like I was trying to manifest sanity or manifest, the righteous coming in and being with Eric Young. It's very possible that it was just Elijah taking out Joe Hendry because I felt like once they brought him in and they paired him with Joe Hendry, like if he was always going to turn on Hendry and they were going to have the two singing wrestlers fight. So they might be getting to that. And eventually, like, and then Joe Hendry can just get packing. He can be done with the show. All right. So they did a contract signing. I'll be honest, guys. I was behind in the show. I started it late. I fast forwarded through the contract signing. But from what I heard, it was very bad. It was like two wholly uninteresting people doing a promo in an uninteresting fashion. And Santino very likely tried to tell jokes. Okay. But they're gonna wrestle. So there you go. Road to Glory, a documentary, The Final Table. I thought it was pretty good. I think if you're a fan of these two tag teams, if you grew up with these guys, you probably really like this. And I grew up with these guys, so naturally I enjoyed it. And now I don't think that the match is going to be like this crazy good match or anything, but it's two of the more famous tag teams of all time, especially like in the last 25 years for sure. Going at, or in the last 30 years. Yeah, these guys have been around for a long time. And they're calling it One Final Table, which I don't think this is going to be the last one. But hopefully it's the last match because I'm pretty sure they've done this gimmick before where they were supposed to have one last match in TNA, actually. But Jeff Hardy's daughters was in it, and they got Bully or brother Devon's kids. They kept calling themselves the Dudley Boys, but they're going by Team 3D. That became an issue on Twitter earlier this week. Like people were openly questioning why they would go by Team 3D and not the Dudley Boys, considering the partnership. Here's the thing: it's TNA. They were Team 3D for like 10 years. I don't think it matters, and I don't think anybody actually cares. So that's Mike's stance on it. And then we get another promo. It's Leon Slater. He's out for Bound for Glory. I thought this was a damn good promo. Like, I thought it was a fantastic promo. Leon Slater's got some. He's got something like more than just in the ring. Like we all knew he was good in the ring, but I think this was like the first time where I was pretty impressed by a promo of his. He had some fire. He talked about some personal issues about his dad walking out on him. He had the belt wrapped around his neck. Unfortunately, I think the motherfucker's going to lose, but I thought this was a damn good promo. He did a really good job. Final card for Bound for Glory. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Eric Young defeated Joe Hendry in a no disqualification match. A lot of walking and brawling and garbage cans and chairs and all the horse shit. Match was fine. I didn't really think it was like the greatest. The crowd was into Joe Hendry, of course. Back in the ring, Young set up a chair in the corner, but of course Hendry was able to reverse Young's move and use his own chair against him. Hendry beat Young about the head and shoulders with some cookie sheets. Hendry dumped Young with a fallaway slam. Hendry went for a standing ovation, but Young raked his eyes to block the move. Young took a wild swing with a cookie sheet and missed. Hendry caught Young with an Olympic slam onto a chair for a near fall. Hendry set up a chair. Give the standing ovation, but Hendry jawed too much about the no DQ stip, and Young caught him with a low blow and then finished Hendry off with a pile driver and beat Hendry clean. So I don't know that was Hendry's last match, but he's putting everybody over on the way out. And then we got a really excellent Mike Santana hype video. One last hype video for Mike Santana. He was in the old LAX like set that they used to have. And he was reading a letter written to him by Conan, and Conan narrated the letter. And then they played a bunch of videos and stuff like that and some overlays. And I thought it was really well done. Probably the best thing on the show tonight. Eagles just fumbled again. These guys are done. Eagles are dead, by the way. I thought it was by far the best thing on the show. And they announced that Mike Santana versus Trick Williams is the main event. They closed the show with this promo. They closed NXT with Mike Santana on top. If Mike Santana doesn't win this fucking match, I think that they got to go out of business. I think it's over. It's they gotta just stop being in the professional wrestling business, I think they're cooked. I get the feeling Santana's winning though. Hopefully clean, but I get the feeling he's winning. But I thought it was an effective way to close the show. All right, let's see. Devon said it's his last match. Well, yeah, I mean the guy had a stroke. I'm surprised he's even in this match. And then the Conan speech was heartwarming. Yeah, I thought they did a great job with that. Good stuff. All right, now let's get to the Bound for Glory preview, where I inaccurately predict every single match. I am the fucking worst at this. I don't know why I still do them, but I never get any of these right. I'll be lucky if I get 3 matches right, but I'm still going to do it. Okay. Final card for Bound for Glory as of right now, as of Thursday at 10:59 p.m. Pre-show match, we got TNA Knockouts Tag Team titles, the Elegance brand versus the Inspiration. This is interesting because the Inspiration, their contracts are due. I get the feeling they're re-signing, but I would be completely fine with the belts going right back to Elegance brand. I like that act. I don't think the Iconics or the Inspiration need the titles. I think they wanted them to have those titles on NXT. But I would be totally fine with them going back to Elegance brand. That being said, I think Inspiration keep it because I do think they're resigning. Could be wrong, but that is my read. That's the only match announced for the pre-show. I do think that the Rascals will be on the pre-show too. GM Miller versus Tessa Blanchard. I don't know that Tessa's long for this company. But who are they building? If GM Miller wins, like, what's the fucking point? Like, is she going to wrestle from now on? I don't know. So I'm going to go with Tessa here, even though I don't think Tessa's sticking around past like November, December timeframe. I could be wrong, but there would be no point in Tessa losing to GM Miller because GM Miller's not going to be an active wrestler. Unless that is the plan going forward, unless she's going to give up the microphone. And then we'll see, like, is Gia any good? I've never seen her wrestle. So the Hardcore Boar, Order 4 versus the System. Typically, I would pick the Order 4 here because the System never wins anything. But I'm going to go with the System here only because I'm pretty sure that Mustafa Ali is going to go for the title. Now, you're saying that, Mike, why would you pick Ali to lose knowing damn well he's probably going to go for the title? It's because I know TNA. And they will beat somebody before they go for a title because then people will just forget the fact that they just lost. it's like that is how they do it. They've been doing it for years. It's annoying as hell. Wins and losses don't matter in this company. It's stupid. But I get the feeling Order 4 is going to lose, and then immediately they're going to make Mustafa Ali the number 1 contender. Just a very TNA thing to do. 20-person Call Your Shot gauntlet. Lei Ying Lee entering number 1. Mance Warner entering at number 20. You had also announced was Brookside, Hometown Man, the Nemesis, I believe Matt Cardona. So I think we had 13 people announced for the match. Some people are going to get excited about the possibility of there being surprises. I want you to go back and watch all of the Call Your Shot gauntlet matches that this company's had since 2018, and there has not been a single surprise that got anybody ever really excited, that ever led to anything other than the one time Bully Ray came in and won and he got his title shot. But that was not a game-changing deal. That was not a big like they try to make this their Royal Rumble, but it's typically geeks in the match, and their surprises are also geeks. Like we've had fucking the Kiss Demon, we had who else? Who else have we had? Like, I think not Ellsworth fought Eli Drake one year. He wasn't a Call Your Shot gauntlet. I think we've had Hornswoggle like a couple of times. A Sunny Kiss was a surprise. Kylie Ray was a surprise. Like nobody of any major significance has ever been a surprise in this match. So if you're thinking it's going to be a surprise, then I don't know what to tell you, man. It's not going to, if it is, it's not going to be a good surprise. So I would try to wrap your heads around that. Like it's not going to be that big of a deal. Okay. Steve Mackin versus Frankie Kazarian. I think they flip it back to Steve. He was stationed in the area. I think he's going to have some Marines nearby. And I think there's, they put a lot of tickets on WrestleTix. I think it was big military presence. Steve has done a good job of getting out there in that area and bringing people to the show. I think he wins it back. I also think that Frankie Kazarian is probably going to challenge for the title too. Look, they got Turning Point and Final Resolution coming up in Genesis, so they need some heels to challenge for the title. So I could see Frankie dropping it back to Steve here. TNA Knockouts World Title: Indy Hartwell versus Kalani Jordan. I don't care who wins. I think this match is gonna be terrible, but probably Indy. TNA X Division title: Leon Slater versus Javon Evans. By far, match of the night. It might be one of the best matches in TNA history. Leon Slater got the victory over Javon on Tuesday. You guys know what that means. So Javon's very likely going to win the match, and I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people brought up like, hey, do you think that Leon Slater's going to like break the record for longest title reign? Clearly not. And if Javon wins, then I think we get more Javon in TNA, and I think that's a good thing because I'm pretty sure Trick's done with this TNA run, so that'd be the trade-off. Like, we lose Trick, we bring in Javon, and then Javon gets to take back the X Division title back to NXT, but that could be a title that we see on the main roster, and like maybe I don't think he defends on the main roster, but he could be the champion on the main roster. So NXT and TNA tag team titles tables match: Team 3D versus the Hardys. If anybody is willing to put money on Team 3D, I will bet my life savings that the Hardys win. So I'm that confident. Probably not going to be a great match, but trip down memory lane. TNA World Title: Mike Santana versus Trick Williams. I'm gonna go ahead and say Mike Santana on this one. I picked Mike Santana to win before Slammiversary, and then literally hours before the show, I changed my prediction, and I was right. But I think that TNA's had a lot of dates on Trick for a long time. I don't think they extended out any longer. He's been effective in his role, and it is time to crown Mike Santana. The way that they built him up on Tuesday, the way they built him up this week, just fantastic. He is the guy in this company. I think he's going to be the man. I know he's got an expiring contract coming up soon. I get the feeling that he's going to I get the feeling he's going to stay around a while because he's going to want to get some time as the TNA champion for like another year or two. So, all right, let's hit the chat, and then we're going to call it a night. All right, Lucky Charm. I do not like TNA putting the titles on people's contracts that are expiring. They do this a lot because it is what they want. Because is it what they want to? Yeah, like you want to give them a reason. Oh, you want to give them a reason to stay. Maybe, but the Iconics are not belt marks. Like, the Iconics want money, right? Like, if you want them to stay, pay them. Like, that's how. IO says they're still negotiating. I think the Iconics are staying. I could be wrong. I just don't see them going anywhere else. They had their run in WWE. They were over in WWE, and WWE still got rid of them. So I guess they think that they're like, yeah, they're over, but like, what can we actually get out of them? And they decided not enough, and they sent them packing. And then they came to TNA for like 3 months and then retired, and then they come back a few years later, and and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Io says, which faction? I'm guessing Order 4 versus System needs to win more. I don't think it really matters, the hardcore bore. I don't see this being a meaningful match. It is just a match that is happening. I don't think this is a significant match whatsoever. Let's see, not even James Storm. Yeah, James Storm would be fun, but Carlos Silva at number 19. Yeah, he could come in the match. All right, Melina was in one. Yeah, Melina was like just randomly showed up, and she was one of the surprises. It's like, fucking Melina. It's like, what are we doing? Okay. Let's see. Alter says, I'll bet $1 for your life saving. That's not a very good bet for me. Don't like the tag titles with the tag match because it makes it so predictable. Yeah, I feel you. All right, guys. Bound for Glory is on Sunday night. I'll be watching intently, but it's going to go late. I think it's going to be another 4-hour pay-per-view, so probably won't be ending until 11. So I'm not going to be able to go live afterwards, but I will be live on Monday at some point in time, and I will get that information out to everybody. If you're watching this on YouTube, please become a subscriber. Head to patreon.com/The Mike and JD Show. And until next time, mahalo.